Again, this still isn't all-wheel drive. I'm not sure if Kia will ever make this all-wheel drive. Time will tell. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be filming the all-new Kia Carnival. Before we get into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Steiner Kia here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this Carnival. This one happens to be available for sale for the time being. So if you happen to be interested, I'll include links to their inventory in the description down below. Ask for Patrick if you have any questions. And if you don't know, the Jerry Steiner Kia does not charge any sort of markups over MSRP. So if you want a great deal on a Kia, reach out to them. And then on a side note, if you don't save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being 290 horsepower and then 262 pound-feet of torque. Now before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see we've got the new style Kia logo, and then we do have some like sharp lines there on either side. We've got these really cool daytime running lights with the LED headlamps, and then you guys can see the grille is kind of darker in color. And let's actually get a little bit closer so you can see the kind of patterning there on the grille. And then we do have parking sensors down below and then some silver trim. And then putting it all together, I do think that the Carnival looks really good for minivan, but not a minivan. Come around the side here, tire and wheel setup is 235, 55, 19 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see you've got the silver trim here on the top with the darker trim down below that, and I think it's a pretty cool design. Notice the cuts here for the fenders, then you guys can see the darker trim there at the bottom. And then we do have the two-tone design here with the mirror, and then notice the pillar all blacked out there, and then you got some silver trim here on the door handles, and then pretty interesting trim there on the side. And then here's our full side view with the Carnival, and you can see that they've definitely tried to make it look more like an SUV than a van. Now here is our key fob. You guys can see we've got our remote start function. This is to open up the doors, the Kia logo, that's the new style. We have our lock function or unlock function, then the opening for the rear hatch. Now popping into the rear, everything is folded down and you can see just how much space there is back here if you want to use this as a thing mover rather than a people mover. We actually have a 12 volt here on the side. Now getting the seat up should be pretty easy. I'm going to try to do this with one hand because I'm holding the camera obviously. So I should be able to just put that up there, and then I should be able to pull that into place, and then I kind of have to kick it up. You guys get the deal. Obviously I would have to slide that forward to fully get it in place, but like, it's light enough that you can technically do it with one hand, which is pretty cool. And then when you're all done, just press that and that will lower the hatch right back down. We got these pretty funky looking tail lights here. It's kind of like a light bar situation with the Kia logo down the center, Carnival down below, and then we do have parking sensors at the bottom. And putting it all together, I mean, it still kind of looks like a minivan, but you know, it's a cool looking minivan at that. Now getting inside is great. All you have to do is just pull the handle and then the door will open right up. Now taking a look at the seats themselves, you guys can see really nice with the design perforated all down the center. And then we do have our adjustments here on the side. Now that I'm in here, I'll just press this button and then I'll close the door. And while the door's closing, you guys can see legroom here. We got a little storage pocket. We got some cup holder action here with the 12 volt. And then you can see we've got like the window control here, and the handle that you actually pull as a passenger is really nice. And got a sunshade. And headroom back here is fantastic. Also, like, we got some vent action happening at the top, and it looks like we got a camera there as well. And then also climate controls. Wow. Now legroom here in the third row is pretty good, especially for kids. And then you guys can see we've got some cup holder action, and then we have a little USB back here, and then headroom, it's also good. With the front door panel, we've got really nice padding all over, and then look at the piano black trim. All of our window controls here with the door lock and unlock, and then the mirror adjustments, and then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then you guys can see here with the seats, look at the padding, and then notice perforated all down the center portion of the seat, and then we do have all of our power adjustments on the side. Really nice padding here on the dash, and then you can see like the wood trim down below, and then we've got our steering assist here, and then we've got our stability control, and then you can see for the doors, and then your hatch, and then if you want to turn the power doors off, you can. So we've got really nice padding all around the steering wheel. This does have adaptive cruise control as well as our steering assist. We've got our volume voice command controls, phone controls on the other side. And then of course, we have our turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. Now with the gauge cluster itself, you can see mostly analog, but we do have a screen there in the center which we can scroll through a few different menus to see different bits of info on the vehicle. And then we also have some drive modes we can go through. We got normal, eco, sport, and smart. And basically it'll just show you there at the bottom with the drive mode that you're in. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution's pretty solid. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, response time's fantastic. We have our passenger view, which is kind of creepy, but it's also very important. As someone who's a parent, it's nice to have technology like this. And then you got the passenger talk as well, where you can talk through the sound system and it'll basically put your voice through the sound system into the back. So pretty cool that you can do that whole setup. And overall, response time of the screen's great. It's got cool tech like that. I don't know what else you could want more than this. And then look at the padding there on the dash, that continues. And then notice with the vents how like it's all a straight line with the trim, and then you got the wood trim down below. And then we've got analog controls for like the radio, actual physical buttons, which I love. We've got our climate controls here for the front dual zone with the front, and then we have what I'm going to call our charging area. So we got some USBs and then a wireless phone charging pad. Shifter for that 8-speed automatic transmission. It does have a manual shift function. Couple cup holders right next to that. We've got our parking brake with our drive mode select and then our auto hold. And then we have our heated seat controls here for the front, and that's for the parking sensors and then for the camera. And then with the center console, it's got plenty of storage space. There's also some cup holders here at the top for the rear passengers. And glove box. Up top, there's not really much to talk about. It's a roof. So here's our window sticker for this Carnival EX, and you can see that almost everything we went over was standard equipment. Notice the warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain, 5-year, 60,000-mile on the basic. Base MSRP, $38,400, and this one has the EX package. And then you can see the total MSRP on this one, $40,430. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and then through the rest of the rear. And let us set off in the Kia Carnival, the minivan that's not a minivan. We'll call it the not a minivan. That's what, that was not creative at all. But anyways, it's starting to snow, so pretty interesting day. First off, seat comfort's pretty good. I just drove a Sorento before this, and I feel like the Sorento seats are a little bit more comfortable than these seats. But that Sorento is also more expensive than this, so hopefully the seats are more expensive, right? Hopefully you get something for paying a little bit of extra money. Now, ride quality with this is really, really good. Some of the nice things about minivans that people don't really talk about is just how comfortable these things are. I mean, just, yeah, so smooth. And the engine's smooth too. Again, with that, I know I'm comparing the Sorento to this, which is not really same segment, but anyways, the powertrain on that was turbocharged. This naturally aspirated. It doesn't have as much punch, but it definitely feels a lot more linear with the power, which I think is what someone would want in a minivan, right? You just want it to be nice and smooth so that you don't wake up the kids in the back. So I think that's important. Drives really well. Again, this still isn't all-wheel drive. I'm not sure if Kia will ever make this all-wheel drive. Time will tell. But it puts down the power pretty well. I should pop into the sport mode. I'm interested to see how this does over the train tracks. Wow. Just plowing through. That was good. Very comfortable. So yeah, they've done a good job with the suspension with this. That is for sure. It's quiet as well. Oh, it looks like the windshield. I'm like, what, are my glasses fogging up? It's like, nope, it's the windshield that is starting to fog up a little bit here. Let's just do front. So hopefully that'll clear it. Yeah, good torque out of the powertrain. I think they've done a good job with that. I just like how comfortable this is. That's kind of like the big takeaway for me personally is, you know, going over the road and everything, it's just so smooth. So let's get start to sum things up here with the Carnival. I think it looks cool on the outside for a minivan. It still looks like a minivan. I don't know why Kia is trying to market this as not a minivan, because it's obviously a minivan. The interior is pretty quiet. Suspension's great. It's practical, easy to use, like the interior items in it, you know, with the seats, folding them up, folding them down, all that kind of stuff. It all makes sense. So I think they've done a good job with that, and we'll actually turn this down. You know, I will mention they have this trim piece right here, and I keep pressing the trim piece instead of the fan speed button because you have this that's in the middle for the temperature. It's not exactly the most intuitive on the planet to use the climate system, but I'm sure it's something that someone would get used to over time. We'll get one more acceleration here, and then I guess we'll just cap things off fully. Go, Ford Ranger, go! Yeah, it's got decent power. I can't get a full-blown acceleration because this Ford Ranger is going like 2 miles an hour. But, you know, it gets up and moves. So for a minivan, I think it's pretty solid. And this is actually affordable for the features you're getting. I mean, you look at like Honda and Toyota and Chrysler, and geez, their minivans are like all over $50,000. So this is at $40,000 for the features you're getting. Looks like a bargain to me. Let me know what you guys think.